folks. We here. We here with RKT Real Estate and Finance. But make sure you go to RKT Appraisals is the website. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you guys go there. So today's topic: how money grows. So what's the thoughts on this? Go in, make it happen.
What's going on, guys? What's going on? Before we even really get into it, let me ask you guys a question. Where do you think that money grows, or how does it grow? Where do you think that it grows?
On trees.
I don't know. Shit, money grows in some type of accounts while you're sleeping.
Facts.
And if you were to put money away, where would you put it?
Shit, in a bank.
Mutual fund.
The three answers that I get, right, is the bank, mutual fund, and under my mattress.
Right.
That is the three that I get, right?
Right.
And two out of those three is, I mean, they're all okay. But when it comes to money, you want to be making sure that like we said, your money is growing, right? Not just sitting there and collecting dust. Right. And so most people, they put their money in the bank, which is cool. That's not the only place you can put your money. But you have to ask yourself, why do you think people put their money in the bank?
Right, because they feel like, well, that's the place is going to be safe. You know what I'm saying? And that, if they have a lot of it, they got to just put it somewhere. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Exactly. And for the most part, yes, it is safe. But unfortunately, it's not growing. Do you know how much you're getting on your money when it's in the bank?
How much?
You know how much what?
Interest that you get on your money when it's in the bank.
Was it like zero point something?
Yeah, zero.
Yep. Yeah. So in other words, if you put $10,000 in the bank right now, 10 years from now, you'll have 10,000 to like maybe $5.
That's crazy.
It's not really growing, right? But like we said, the part about having it in the bank, one is easy access to your money, and two, it's safe, right? So that's one place. Miles, you was just talking about mutual funds, right?
Yeah.
Talking about mutual funds. That's another place that money grows, right? That's our 401k in a variable market, right? That's another place that money grows with a higher interest rate. So things like stocks, bonds, mutual funds, your 401k, your 403b, these accounts, they're growing with interest. So that's another place that your money grows. Right. Do you guys have mutual funds? Do you guys have stocks, any bonds, anything like that in that nature?
Yeah.
Now, ain't nothing wrong with growing your money in a variable account. But let me ask you a question. What do you think is a good thing about having your money in like stocks and bonds and mutual funds, things of that nature? What do you think is a good thing about it?
Well, I'll say the only good thing is that, because I know for a fact if we just leave it in the bank, it's gonna do absolutely nothing.
Right.
Correct.
So I just think that the mutual funds it's better than nothing. Because the economy is not doing so good right now. So it's not like mutual funds and stocks and all that are doing so fucking well, but it's just better than the bank. And it's better than, I can't have it in my fucking apartment because, I can't have it in my apartment. Like if one of the maintenance niggas come in here to do some shit and they see a wad of cash sticking out of a drawer and then they take it, is my word against theirs. So there's security on my money and is better than a bank. So that's why we opt for mutual funds and shit.
Now, the only downside to having not a mutual fund, just having your money in a variable account in general, is that it's risky. So just the guy coming in and seeing your money and taking it, if a couple of bad moves in the stock market and your money, someone's 401k can go from 500,000 in their 401k to 250. Right. So people don't realize that when it comes to the variable market, it's a good thing. Unfortunately, it's not doing so great right now, but it's still a good place to have your money. Not all, but a portion of it. But it's not
all of it. Right.
And lose a lot of money.
Right.
I've had clients in the past where they've lost hundreds of thousands of dollars in their 401k because that's all they had.
Right.
Now, that's the second way that money grows. And the third way that money grows is in an index account. Right? So now with an index account, your money is mirroring the market. So like when the market goes up, your money goes up with it. But when the market down or when it tanks, your money gets locked into place.
Right.
Third market strategy that people can use, and that's how that's another strategy to where you can grow your money. But the question is, everybody use this account simply because nobody knows about it.
Well, to be honest with you, a good part of our money is in an account like that,
right?
An index account.
A portion of it. Oh, you talking about your money?
Yeah, literally, yeah.
Okay, good,
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
And what I tell people is that I think it's important to like diversify. Like I don't think one is more better than the other. They all have their advantages and disadvantages. I would say that it's good to have something in all of them. You should be able to go to the bank and take out some money if you need to.
Of course.
Be able to, invest in stocks and bonds and get good interest on that money. Because and what don't get me wrong, don't gamble with your mortgage and your rent money now. Don't put all your money in the variable market. But if you got some extra cash and you want to, invest in certain companies and stocks and bonds, do so because you'll get a great return on your money.
Right.
And I believe that you should have some money to where you don't touch at all. You don't even think about it. Would put into that third bucket, which is an index account. And like I said, everyone should have money in each account for various and different reasons.
What about real estate though?
Well, when it comes to real estate, that's more fixed. So that's more in people should have money in real estate, 100%. As far as because when it comes to these different accounts, you have tax now, tax later, and tax advantage. Something like real estate, you're taxed now, you're taxed right away. After that transaction is done, you're being taxed. Something your 401k, that's taxed later. Right? When you retire, you'll receive distributions. Tax advantage is the cash accumulation life insurance policy. That's no tax at all. That's a little loophole through the that's a little gem right there, a little loophole to where you don't get taxed. So the question is, do you want to get taxed now, tax later? Do you want to get taxed on $10,000 or do you want to get taxed on $100,000?
Right.
So and they would prefer you to get taxed later. They want you to get taxed later. They want you to build up that money and get taxed later on because they're going to take more, but like I said, everybody's situation is different. Point is, you can't really escape taxes. One of the only ways that you can possibly escape taxes is through life insurance, hands down.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that the piggyback off everything everybody's saying is accurate. The one thing I will say though, for your money to grow, is that you actually got to invest in yourself. I think that's the key core of everything. The reality of the situation is a lot of times people get carried away with all this type of stuff, but keeping it simple, invest in yourself and invest in things that you like and the things that you're passionate about. People got to learn to turn their liabilities into assets. So if you're a person that I'll give it a perfect example. It was a few years ago. I had bought a couple Knicks tickets and I had sold them. But the point is, it was when the COVID was happening, the tickets were going down, and I just ended up selling them for cheap. And then someone told me, like, let me hold on to the tickets. I did not hold on to those tickets. But I'm a sports fan. I'm a Giants and Knicks fan. Did not hold on to them tickets. They had cheap tickets for sales. 3 weeks later, the market skyrocketed. Them same tickets was triple the cost. And had I invested in something that I love, I would have made money. So the key thing is just start investing in yourself and investing in the things that you actually like and do. That's the first step. Just looking around. You're a person that like comics and all that nonsense. Sorry. People out there like comics, but whatever. You like comics, invest in comics. It's going to make you money. You know what I mean? I got a relative that been in comics for years. Loved them. He got a whole store now making money off it. So invest in what you like first. That's a key thing.
Nigga, I'm a fan of soap. I started making soap the other day.
Look at that.
You understand what I'm saying? And niggas is buying the soap. You know what I'm saying? So
made that yourself?
No, hell yeah. This is my shit. I ain't even playing. Masculine identity soap, real shit.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I've been selling soap since the other day. So and it's really just because I love soap. It's not because I'm trying to be a soap seller, but I love soap. So I was like, well, I'm gonna start making soap and I'm gonna start selling my soap. And it's been doing pretty good.
Look at that. Case in point.
Real shit.
I mean, and it's key, man. And I mean, to Katie's point, with that said too, I mean, you want to invest in all different forums. You know, real estate is big. Real estate is massive because real estate is the long game. It's not the short game. Right. Meaning that real estate is a minimum on average 3-4 year investment to get money on your return. But the gains are way higher, but that also means you're going to get taxed more. But again, the key important thing is the gains are a lot higher. Because if you sit on a property, you know, 3, 4, 5 years after the mortgage is paid down plus whatever profit you're making on top of it. And if you keep a house for 30 years, it's paid off. And the only thing you have to do is pay tax. So if you owe and you need somebody to take care of you, you can be taken care of in your own house and you can afford to live. So that's why real estate is a great investment tool. You know, as far as basic, like Katie said, life insurance, a lot of times people don't know life insurance. You can invest in it, you know what I mean? And it's tax-free. So to keep it simple, it's boring. That's why nobody knows about it. It's boring. Nobody knows about it. Nobody care about life insurance, but it's a hidden gem. Again, you know, you can let it sit in there. You know, you can get tax-free and it gains all the gains, like Katie said, and you don't lose a lot of money. It does have a floor. Everything has a floor. So what that means is you just never drop below a certain interest rate. So it doesn't mean that, you know, and the gains never really go past 10%. So it lives between 3 and 10%. So that means you're never going to go below 3 for the most part. And the highest you cap is 10%, where a stock market or a 401k, you may have gains of 20%, 30%, but it's more risk associated with that. So it's more of a gamble. But that's why an index and an insurance policy is safe, because you never drop below a certain amount and you never can make a massive gains. So what that means is over time, you're always making money no matter what. So that's why it's good to have something in that angle. So one, we got the real estate thing, you know, where, you know, you get your house paid off so you have somewhere to live and you can pull money out of it. You got the index with the life insurance policy where you're always constantly making money. And then, you know, the next form, you know, that's where you want to, you know, put money into, like when it comes to the stocks and all that type of stuff, because you do want to take risks. You have to take risks to make it in life. You have to. No matter what you're doing, you have to take a risk. If you had a job, you got to switch jobs. If you're the first one to get hired, if you're last one to get hired, you're the first one likely to get fired. But it's still a risk. You got to do it. What are you going to stay stuck at a job paying you $2 an hour for 20 years? Or you're going to take a chance to go somewhere else and get paid more money and see what happens? So that's why the stock market is just like life. You have to take a risk. You have to invest in these 401ks. They're a little bit more sturdy when you do them through your jobs. If you're not a 9-to-5 person, of course, now it's more pressure on you because you actually have to pay attention. Because if you're a 9-to-5 person, your job does all the work. They just say, hey, low risk, medium risk, high risk, easy. But if you're doing it on your own, if you're an entrepreneur, you actually pay attention. You need to pay attention because you will lose everything. You know what I mean? Right. So you're not paying attention. So that's the difference of when it comes down to it. But that's why you want to have a piece of the pie in all little forums, man, in all angles. Because it's just like kids. You know, they say it takes a village to raise kids. It takes a village to make money. You know what I mean? This one income nonsense is not a real thing. So that's what I always tell people.
Right. So how much money, or I should say, how much does your money grow in these like specific accounts? Like, let's say you or like let's say you have like just a mutual fund account or like any type of different account. Like what's like the extended period of time where they're going to actually see a significant growth. So like, let's say if you have like, you put $5,000 somewhere and you let it sit, you know what I'm saying? So then a year later, how much would that turn into based off of whatever they're putting it into? Like, does it depend on the percentage, or does it depend on the market? Does it depend on like, you know, what type of, you know, mutual fund they have? Like what can people like look at or see? You know what I'm saying? Versus just having their fucking money in the bank. You know what I'm saying?
So it varies, but the reason why I like that question, Mr. Lucar, because you apply it to all forums. So that same $5,000 example, you put it in an IUL policy, or insurance policy. Just grabbing a calculator, like I said, that like we just said just now, that you know it's never going to drop more than 3%. So in the worst case scenario, you put $5,000, and compound gets on top of it. But at worst, you're going to gain pretty much for the most part $150 a month for the most part. You know what I mean? With that type of account, you know, at maximum, you're going to gain at maximum $400. So you're never really gonna drop below, for the most part, for $150, a month, or a month based off of compound interest, whatever the case is. When you average it out, now it fluctuates, but for the most part, you're gonna stay in that range. Same example, a 5,000 in the stock market. It depends on what you select: medium risk, high risk, or low risk. Medium risk, that same 5,000 in a year time frame, you might make on a low end, you might make 6,000 if the stock market goes good. On a high risk end, you might make 20,000, but you also might lose 15,000 if the stock don't do good. You know what I mean? So that's how it kind of works. If you put that same 5,000 in real estate, the way you look at it is that, the best way to look at that is you can use that as a down payment to get that house. Now that same house, if you have a mortgage, whatever the case is, and you're paying $2,000 a month for a mortgage, and after the interest is paid, blah, 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 you're left with like an extra $600 a month comes off. You automatically, for the year, you save back $7,000. You know what I mean? And that pays down every year for that mortgage, $7,000 off your mortgage. So if you paid for a house $150,000, and after you pay all your interest for the year, you got $7,000 back. So that means that for that year, if you were to try to pull money out the house, you only owe $143 now. So you can pull out $7,000. Year 2, $14,000. Year 3, $21,000. Year 4, $28,000. So that's how that works, because you're paying off the house, and that's not counting if you rented it out. This is if you have a single family house, but if you rented it out, or whatever the case is, or the value of the house go up. So say that same house went up in that 5-year period, you can now borrow $35,000, but the house went up, say the house went up $30,000. You have that extra $30,000 that you can also borrow.
Exactly.
That's the perfect example of how you can use that 5,000 in all those forums and how it affects you. That's why it's good to have a piece of pie in everything. You know what I mean? Don't stick to one thing. Have a piece of the pie in everything.
Because with real estate, if they happen to like build a Walmart near your neighborhood, that raises the value of your house. You know what I'm saying? Or if they, because you never know what might happen. Like a lot of like right now, my mom owns land in Florida, and they're getting ready to friggin' develop that area where she bought land. You know what I'm saying? So those land plots are worth more and more money now. You know what I'm saying? So it happens just like you could just go around and buy land and see what happens. And at a regular rate. Matter of fact, I need to do that. But anyway, at a regular rate, it's still considered real estate, and it's still going to go up in price. But let's just say in the surrounding area, they start developing the area. Sometimes the developers will come to you and be like, yo, we want to buy a plot of land for a certain amount of money. Or if you're smart, you can, if you get the money, you can build on your land. You know what I'm saying? To add to the development of the neighborhood or of your city, whatever it is. But somebody asked a question in the chat. Somebody named Respect My Gangster. He says, or they say, because we got to use the right pronouns, right? So they them said, why do banks charge interest on loans? So you guys are the financial professionals. Explain that shit.
Yeah, no, it's simple. This is no trick. This is almost a trick question, but to make money off you. That's it. That's literally the only reason why, to make money off you.
Right.
Well, but I mean, there is a technical reason, though. No,
I mean the technical reason is to make money and to assess the risk. So the technical reason is to make money off of you, use the money, the interest that they make off of you for them to invest in their products that they believe in to make them more money. So they use the interest made off of you to invest in their own stocks, their own stocks and bonds that they want to get into.
Right. So Monogamous Player said, besides houses and property, are there other assets I can potentially generate passive income from?
Yeah, I mean, to the point earlier on, just everything that we spoke about. If you have a car, that car can generate passive income. I know people that rent out their car with what's that thing called? I forgot.
Toro.
Yeah, Toro. I know somebody that does that. She has a car right now. She just got a second car right now, solely for Toro. So she makes about $2,500 a month on Toro, just renting out the car. And yeah, that's a real thing. Yeah, no, it's a real thing. It's a real thing. You know what I mean? It's a headache because it's work like anything where you gotta find a drop off location and you gotta drop the keys off and you got and all that type of stuff as far as the physical part of it. But no, she makes money off of it, so you can use your car as an asset. I mean, like I said before, if you're in the comic books or something, you can use that. You in the cards, you can make money off of that. You can make passive income off of anything. Truly, honestly, and truly, that's why I say look around you, the things you love, invest in those type of things. But outside of real estate and property, the IUL policies, like we said, it's boring, but it's also just investing in that same property, throwing a little bit more money in there. And then your 401k up the limit. If your job matches 6%, match 6%. And if you want to make more money, throw 10% in there of your money. You're not going to really miss it. You're not going to notice, oh my God, I missed the extra 4% on our paycheck. No, you're not. Let's be real. You know what I mean? You're like 401k, if you got a 9 to 5, do that. Add more money in your 401k. It's all types of stuff that you can use. But the main thing is just paying attention to what's around you and using those resources.
Right.
Real shit.
And then and the index accounts too.
Yeah. Life insurance, you can throw more money into that. That's the easiest way and the most cost-effective way at the end of the day. To be honest with you.
So it says, are high-yielding savings accounts good? I don't even know what that is. You gotta explain that.
What is that? What, or did he just make some shit up?
No. I mean, how yielding savings account? Go ahead, Kay. You gonna talk?
No. I was gonna tell him whoever that is, break that down. High yielding.
Yeah, no. I mean, high yielding savings accounts is. It's just a fancy way of banks of banks. High yield and savings accounts is a fancy way of just saying banks that give you higher interest rates than higher than the average bank. So it's essentially the same thing. But you got bank accounts that actually give you more than the 0.001 that we spoke about. There's banks that actually offer you a real 1%, full 1% type of thing, and those are classified as high yielding saving banks and stuff like that. Right. So it's just a safer way, a safer way to go about it in terms of banks. You still have your money in the bank, but at the same time, it's just a bank account that actually gives you a higher percentage. Literally, that's all it is.
But if you're going to do a high yield savings account, you might as well do an index account. You might as well get an IUL. You might as well, invest in a money market account. Like you might as well just put it in a Vanguard. You might as well, go to rktappraisals.com and get a whole life or IUL or some type of life insurance policy, because anything with a bank, if you put money in with a bank, just know that you could always be doing better with like a stock market or another financial institution that specializes in saving your money. You understand what I'm saying? So the banks is always cool, but to me, banks is good for having a decent like checking account. And from your cash flow with checking accounts, you could get a decent line of credit. You understand? Right. But as far as saving your money, you might as well just do it. You might as well save your money into a IUL, a life insurance policy, like a Vanguard, T. Rowe Price, all those other financial institutions that specialize in retirement and savings. You understand what I'm saying? Because your bank sees the money you're making and they want to entice you to save money with them. But if it's with a bank, they call it high yield because that's what they have to call it to make you think it's worth it.
Right.
And this is the thing too about with the high yield thing, to your point, Miles, you do get more money. So I'm not saying that you don't get more interest, but it's always stipulations. I don't say catches no more. It's always stipulations. The highest, most high yields go was 4% interest, but they always most times they're gonna require you to put way more money. And
you can't take it out until after a certain time and all this other shit.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's kind of like a CD and all that type of shit.
Exactly. It's very similar to that. So it's not bad, but it's just a fancy way I want to feel extra safe. So I'm going to do it because I trust the bank a lot more than I trust these IUL policies and these life insurance policies at the end of the day.
Yo, my Vanguard been performing between 6 to 8% for the last, I don't know how many years, my nigga. Why use a bank if I could use Vanguard? And it only takes me like a day my money is still basically liquid. Right. You understand what I'm saying? It only takes me like literally 24 to 36 hours for me to get my money. All I gotta do is make a phone call and there's 24-hour customer service You understand what I'm saying? So if you're going to use a high yield account with a bank, just get a fucking Vanguard. You know what I'm saying? Or a Scott what was Scott Trade or any one of these other like financial institutions that do money market accounts or index type accounts.
Right. So it says, what is equity and how does it work?
I mean, to keep it simple, equity is any extra money, surplus money that you have in terms of whatever. You can only build equity in things that accrue value. So what do I mean? Back to the real estate thing. You have equity in real estate. Equity is any asset that gains value. So a house, you get an equity. You know, if you have a house, the same example I gave before, where if you have a house and it's 150,000 and you paid off over a 5-year period, 35,000, you have $35,000 of equity. That's extra money you can pull out. That's yours. You can take out. It's liquid cash. So it's whatever asset you have that can gain. If it's a car, it's a liability. You typically don't have equity in cars. You only have equity in cars if the value of the car is super valued, meaning you have a nice car and you have, you have low miles on it. So the car has a lot more value than typically it's worth. That's equity. So you have a car that you barely ever drive. It's normally worth $10,000, but because you barely drive and take care of it, put it in mint condition, it's worth $15,000. That is equity. You can take out that extra $5,000 because it's valued more than what you owe on it. It's valued more than what you owe on it. That's the key with equity. Anything that's valued more than what you owe on it, that extra value is yours. That is equity.
So if you're a high value man, then
yeah, I'd say equity is literally just the value of something in reference to how much you done paid off. You done paid off already. You understand? And but it could also, like for a house. Let's say you have a $100,000 mortgage on the house and you paid off $50,000. Right. So you, based on the mortgage and the loan, you have equity of $50,000 in the house. But if your neighborhood went up in value, if they put a Walmart and a Target and a fucking school and a hospital, then now the market value of your house is up to $200,000. So the equity that you have in your house, according to the market, is an extra $100,000. So now you have $150,000 of equity in your house, but you still have $50,000 left to pay on your mortgage. You get what I'm saying? But so equity is the value that an asset holds with the market and coupled with whatever you done paid off. You understand? So, it's because equity could mean a lot of different things depending on what you're looking at. Because like I said, if it's a house, it has to do with how much you done paid off plus the actual market value. Because if you've been sitting on a house for like 5 to 10 years, chances are the house is worth more just based on the market, and that adds to the equity. Because you got, and you guys know this, but you have some deals like you'll like get a house under contract, and then before you even close, they just built a school down the street, or before you close, your next door neighbor just sold a house for twice what your house is worth, and just because of that type of shit, you'll buy your house with equity in it. Just because the neighborhood is changing around you. You get what I'm saying? So equity is value based on the market and based on your, how much you still owe on your loan.
Right. So any last words you want to say as far as like, having your money grow and all this other stuff? Like what are the things that
see, real quick, King Yak says SoFi Bank is a 4% return. That's what I'm saying. My Vanguard been performing way better than 4% for the last, like, I don't know how many fucking years. Like on average, my Vanguard been giving me 8% return on my money, even in this downturn economy. You understand what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. Like, if you gonna fuck with SoFi, you might as well have got a Vanguard.
And then, I would say I agree with Miles 100%. I just think that people like King Yikes, it sounds like you want to be super safe. So the high yield savings account is super safe, but the index universal life policy is even safer, and you get more gains. But yes, and I would say my last words is actually just give us a call, because these are all good questions. But the reality of the situation, these questions you asking, if you go to the site and book a consultation, you could actually ask us these questions. We actually tell you what works based on your life, because we're going to ask you real questions. Do you have a 9-to-5? All right. Do you have a 401k? All right. Let's talk about that. Do you have a life insurance policy? All right. No. Let's do some projections. See how much money you can make. Cost you $50 a month. This is how much money you make. So these questions you asking in the chat, definitely actually take the time to book the consultation to actually talk to us, ask us these same questions, and we can give you real life answers that's direct about your life. So there's no guessing, you know? So.
Real shit. All right, people. So make sure you guys go to rktappraisals.com and hit up Kaylee and Rashidi. And yeah, man, we'll holler at you guys later. Remember, the truth is inside you. Peace. We gone.